19 Bible results for roots from King James Version. Results 1:19. Suggested result Colossians 2-7 rooted and built up in him, and stablished in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. In context. Full chapter. Other translations. Bible search results. 2 Chronicles 7:20. Then will I pluck them up by the roots out of my land which I have given them, and this house, which I have sanctified for my name, will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and byword among all nations. In context. Full chapter. Job 8:17. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seeth the place of stones. In context. Full chapter. Job 18:16. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. In context. Full chapter. Job 28:9. He putteth forth his hand upon the rock, he overturneth the mountains by the roots. In context. Full chapter. Job 30:4. Who cut up mallows by the bushes, and juniper roots for their meat. In context. Full chapter. Isaiah 11:1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. In context. Full chapter. Jeremiah 17:8. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. In context. Full chapter. Ezekiel 17:6. And it grew, and became a spreading vine of low stature, whose branches turned towards him, and the roots thereof were under him. So it became a vine, and brought forth branches, and shot forth sprigs. In context. Full chapter. Ezekiel 17:7. There was also another great eagle with great wings and many feathers, and, behold, this vine did bend her roots towards him, and shot forth her branches towards him, that he might water it by the furrows of her plantation. In context. Full chapter. Ezekiel 17:9. Say thou, Thus saith the Lord God, shall it prosper? Shall he not pull up the roots thereof, and cut off the fruit thereof, that it wither? It shall wither in all the leaves of her spring, even without great power or many people to pluck it up by the roots thereof. In context. Full chapter. Daniel 4:15. Nevertheless leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. In context. Full chapter. Daniel 4:23. And whereas the king saw a watcher and an holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, Hew the tree down, and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. In context. Full chapter. Daniel 4:26. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. After that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. In context. Full chapter. Daniel 7-8. I considered the horns, and, behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and, behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. In context. Full chapter. Daniel 11-7. But out of a branch of her roots shall one stand up in his estate, which shall come with an army, and shall enter into the fortress of the king of the north, and shall deal against them, and shall prevail. In context. Full chapter. Hosea 14-5. I will be as the dew unto Israel, he shall grow as the lily, and cast forth his roots as Lebanon. In context. Full chapter. Amos 2-9. Yet destroyed I the Amorite before them, whose height was like the height of the cedars, and he was strong as the oaks, yet I destroyed his fruit from above, and his roots from beneath. In context. Full chapter. Mark 11:20. And in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. In context. Full chapter. Jude 1:12. These are spots in your feasts of charity, when they feast with you, feeding themselves without fear. Clouds they are without water, carried about of winds. Trees whose fruit withereth, without fruit, twice dead, plucked up by the roots. In context, full chapter / Psalm 1:3. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Read full chapter